Hello everyone and welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters video here. Today we're going to be talking about the Patriots Jahlani Tavai extension, so let's get right into it. So the Patriots front office here continues the trend of locking up core defensive players with locking down Jahlani Tavai on a 3-year, $21 million contract extension, and around 15 of that $21 million isn't guaranteed money, again rewarding defensive players here. And one who's been really productive for you the past 2 seasons in Jahlani Tavai, ever since he really came over with that trade from Detroit, has been a very productive player for you. And it's just good to see these guys getting rewarded once again. Front office obviously making that a focal point of the offseason, a lot of cap space, bringing back their guys, Gerard Mayo, making sure that players that he's well acquainted with is on this defense, as well as adding some new players, but really just a familiar core here on defense really should translate over well. Understandably, there's going to be some new coaching issues, but a lot of the same personnel, so hopefully the production that the defense has had this past couple seasons is going to translate over. And with Jahlani Tavai really being in the fold once more, I don't see why that couldn't be the case here. So looking into Tavai's 2023 season here, he was able to rack up 73 tackles, came down with 1 sack, had 35 defensive stops, which was well above his average for a season based in that category, so that's a great sign. Came up with 3 pass breakups, forced 2 fumbles. In the passing attack, he was targeted 35 times and allowed 27 receptions for around a reception rate of 77%, which was around his career totals. I'll get into his coverage grade a little later, but he also made 2 interceptions, so he did expand on that area of his game in terms of forcing takeaways and really came up clutch for this defense several times last season. But taking a look into his actual grades here, he came up with a defensive grade of 86.6, which actually ranked 4th amongst all linebackers in the NFL. He only trailed guys like Fred Warner, Demario Davis, and Tyrell Dodson, so in really elite company there. And it's just good to see that these stat sites are kind of recognizing the production that Tavai's outputting. And it's kind of good to see him get this kind of recognition. So hopefully he can keep this up and really earn himself an even better contract potentially later in his career. Or just really getting the respect that he deserves from a production standpoint. He had a run defense grade of 86.2, another elite grade. And I actually found another stat on PFF here. Out of the 406 run defense snaps that he took, he was only graded on a negative run grade in those snaps 5.4% of the time. So really just elite production in the run game this past season, and was one of the reasons why the Patriots were able to kind of succeed in that area alongside the rest of the front 7. But had a pretty solid tackling grade this past season of 68.6. Had a pass rush grade of 63.5, and had a really good coverage grade of 82.7. Like I said before, he allowed the reception rate of around 77%, which kind of reflected what he usually does. That's a tendency. He was kind of in his career average of the reception rate allowed, but he was really just more so able to make plays on the ball this past season in terms of interceptions and pass breakups, instead of it just kind of being QB misses. So that's hopefully another area that he can continue to expand upon. And he really has become one of the better coverage linebackers in the NFL. So credit to him on that part as well. And really this is just more so kind of reflecting his versatility, but taking a look where he kind of aligned along the defense, he took 302 snaps on the actual defensive line, 446 box snaps, kind of just playing that weak side linebacker, and he took 65 slot snaps. Certainly the Patriots weren't afraid to put him in the slot and really have him either cover some slot receivers or some tight ends. And that really shows with how his coverage grade really reflected the confidence that they had within him. And just taking a look at his 2022 season, these were by far the most amount of snaps that he took throughout his career, so that's kind of why I plucked it out. And they just so happened to both be in New England. He had a defensive grade of 73.5, a run defense grade of 69.2, an elite tackling grade last season of 89.9, a pass rush grade of 61, and a coverage grade of 73.3. So you can see those coverage grades really are kind of around the same-ish, kind of in the same ballpark, but still very good. This past season being elite, and last season really rating above average as a coverage linebacker. So he really has just done a nice job of really kind of stabilizing that area of his game. And hopefully that's going to continue the trend forward, which will allow the Patriots to be more versatile on defense. But just taking a look at his career totals, he has 196 tackles, 5 snaps, 92 defensive stops. He's forced 5 fumbles. He has 7 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and has 6 touchdowns returned. So Tavai really has had his best 2 most productive seasons here in New England out of the 3 years. And ever since he's been traded here from Detroit, really has become a stable defensive starter for the Patriots on this defense. And it's good to just see the front office kind of rewarding those players once more. We'll see if they actually reward some more players who've been really productive like Matthew Judon, and maybe even potentially a guy like Devon Godshot or Jonathan Jones here. But just good to see Jahlani Tavai really getting rewarded the contract that he deserved. And this is very much respecting the production that he had by the Patriots front office. So it's good to see him kind of ink this deal and continue to be productive in a Patriots uniform. All right, everyone, that wraps up this video about the Patriots extending Jahlani Tavai. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And once again, as the channel continues to grow, your support is much appreciated. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.